And welcome, everybody, to the glorious episode of the Student Body Right USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, and as always, I am podcasting at the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle. Check me out there. Also, check me out on Blue Sky as well for all the stuff I'll be tweeting out and everything like that. Also, put on waivers underscore podcast on Instagram. So you can check me out there as well. So the college football playoff is coming to a summation here. You got the Final Four here. You got Penn State, Notre Dame, Texas, Ohio State. Let's kind of we'll do a quick preview of that. Talk about Chad Savage becoming the new inside wide receivers and a tight end coach at USC, and then we will discuss a little bit about the GM search. And then a couple transfers as well. So let's jump right into it. Penn State, Notre Dame. This is an interesting situation. You also have a situation where the head coaches, were together, and we all know Notre Dame has not been a team that has played in a conference at all. And now you have a situation where you had James Franklin say in front of Marcus Freeman, he feels like every team should be in a conference. Kind of taking, not taking a shot at Notre Dame, but Notre Dame does have that little bit of a privilege here to not be in a conference, and it's kind of like, it's an advantage for them to have like eight, nine straight home games, things like that. So not being in the conference is a little bit of an advantage there, and I think that him. James Franklin kind of throwing that shot out there and not being afraid to do so. I thought that was pretty cool. Penn State, I feel like, is the better team. I thought Penn State should win this game. I think if you really peel back the layers of that, and I do like a shout out to Sean Oahu Raider, who was a huge huge Notre Dame fan, who you could kind of like we were texting and talking back and forth, and it's like it is a situation where like you have to sit back and say to yourself, do you trust your ability to get a kickoff return for a touchdown or a turnover in their own end to get a short field? Like, I mean, those things happen for Notre Dame, and Notre Dame's traditional offense, their conventional scoring only gave them like 6 points in the game. So I think that's something you got to think about as well if you're a Notre Dame fan. Like, how do they get points in a traditional fashion? Because you can't count on kickoff returns or turnovers or wide receivers dropping wide open passes. Can't count on walk-ons to bump into wide receivers to stop you from scoring. um and just holding up the opponent there. So they have to come out there and win, and Riley Leonard's going to have to come out there and play well and have to show he can pass. He can't pass for 88 yards. He has to pass for at least 170, 200 yards to keep the defense honest. If he's able to pass the ball well, then Notre Dame's defense will have an opportunity to rush the passer. You have the opportunity to run the football a little bit. If I am Penn State, I am ganging up on that run game, um, whether it's the Notre Dame backfield or Riley Leonard, and I'm saying I'm making you throw. You have to make him throw, and you have to make him go as somewhere else besides the slot receiver. That's where they have a lot of their success there, is in the slot. But Notre Dame, in my opinion, I think is not as well rounded, but Penn State usually keeps teams around in games. As SC fans know, we were right in that game with Penn State, despite Penn State being a better team than Southern Cal. I'm gonna go out and say 30-20. No, let's go 20. Let's go 27-17. Penn State wins this game. You have Texas, Ohio State, Stark out here against Ryan Day. Should be interesting. It should be an interesting battle because for a lot of different reasons. But this Ohio State team is clearly the best team in college football. We know they're the best team in college football. We can't sit there and act like they're not. They are the best team. But can they? It doesn't mean they don't. Doesn't mean they win it. because they're the best team. They have to perform at a high level, and I think they have to get a lot of pressure and force mistakes on the Quinn Hewers. I don't know if Texas can run the football effectively. That's why I think they've been up and down in some of these games because they haven't been able to run the football the way they wanted to run the football. It's really that if you could defend the screen passes and the shot plays by Stark, you should be fine. But I don't know what they do with the wide receivers from Ohio State. This is a big moment for Will Howard, the transfer from Kansas State. Like he has the best team. It's on him to perform at a high level because he has a bunch of weapons that Texas can't cover. Like let's just call it like it is. Texas cannot cover these weapons. They can't. They absolutely cannot cover these weapons. So it's gonna be a huge thing here to see if they can actually cover it. They can't cover these weapons at all. They can't. So that's gonna be one of the biggest things in this game is what the cat and mouse game between do you play off these receivers and give them the short comebacks if you're Texas, or do you press them and force them to make one-on-one plays and force tight window throws, try to force tight window throws for Will Howard. It's a kind of a damn if you do, damn if you don't. Texas's only chance to win this game would be, in my opinion, is going to be their red zone defense. Are you giving up big chunk plays and bombs all over the field like Oregon did, or are you going to force this team to kick field goals in in situations in situational football in the red zone? I look at a lot of different things to this. I watch a lot of tape on both teams. I think Ohio State wins this game. Let's go 34-24. Kind of comfortably, but still, fourth quarter, still within doubt. But I think they pull away in the fourth and win this game. We'll come right back with USC stuff now and Chad Savage becoming a part of the Trojan staff. So, back on the Student Body Right USC podcast, Dwayne Douglas here. Let's go talk about Chad Savage here. Savage coming from Colorado State, from the Rams, is just known. I think it was like 3 years in a row. This is the third year in a row where he has become where he was that conference's recruiter of the year. So, and he has Cali ties. Again, he has Cali ties. He does a lot of his recruiting in California and in Arizona. So that's something that's really good for USC. USC has a good staff, but Doug Belk is not from Cali. Coach Henny's not from Cali. Like some of their prime recruiters are not from California. So it does help to have somebody who knows the landscape of California and can speak that California language to these recruits. So that would be good to see what he's able to do for USC. And listen, it's hard to say it's like a home run hire when it's not a big time coordinator or a head coach. But I do think it's definitely something that you have to say to yourselves if you're a USC fan. The guy knows what he's doing. The guy is a good coach. The guy is a guy who you can really sit back and say to yourself, he can help with the upcoming class in 2026 being one of the best in California's like history from what I've been hearing. This gives them an opportunity now, right? It gives them an opportunity to have a big stake as far as getting that class as high as you can, because there's a lot of really good high school football players coming out or who are graduating in 2026, and that 2026 class could be really, really good. The GM search, we talked about it going on. It's been very tight-lipped. I don't think anybody has even seen a name who like a top 3 list or something like that. So they're doing a good job of like keeping it in stealth mode and nobody's really knowing what's going on. But it looks like it's going to be a guy who's not connected to Lincoln Riley. And I think what we're looking for with this move, I believe, is a move in which it really helps the I think it's really going to help USC with the spring portal. I think the for the winter portal is already like, I mean, there's some names in there that are in there right now that, yeah, that as long as you're in there you can still do your thing. But I think with USC getting, I think in the spring portal you'll see the kind of the flexing of USC in that, and then they'll get some guys and they'll fill some holes. They'll fill some holes that they really need to fill, and get everything going in the right direction as far as that goes. Wayman, Jordan, and DJ Wingfield, they're coming along board now. You have the top JUCO and Jordan. You have the top JUCO running back, so that's huge to get that. And he seems like when I'm reading, he's the every down back. Where Sanders and Jackson are going to be, they're going to get their carries, here and there, but he's going to be, Wayman Jordan is going to be the guy who is the number one, the Woody Marks, the Woody Marks uh, replacement here as every down back. But I'm sure the USC will run the football. Hopefully, they run the football a little bit more. That's going to be huge to see if they can do that. They need to run the football a lot more, and hopefully they are able to do so. Yeah, it's kind of imperative, especially if you're going to have Jaden Mayava as your quarterback. You need to be able to run the football, so you run that play action game. You can run some trick plays. You can do all that stuff like that because he has a huge arm and that can get down the field. There's not a throw he can't make. And part of his inexperience is just getting him comfortable with the running game, and then all of a sudden now you can go over the top to some of these weapons like Makai Lemon and also Jacoby Lane. They lose Emmanuel Pregnon, so DJ Wingfield comes in. He is I'm going to do a video on him. YouTube is doing a little thing with all 22 for college, so I watch out for that. It might be only available on my Twitter. Um, but he was solid. I watched the entire all 22 game against Penn State. We know Penn State has really solid people up front, so I kind of want to see what he did against top competition, and he held his own in the run game and the pass game. So I think Pregnant's probably slightly a better player, but I do think Wingfield right now is you couldn't do better, right, than having him there when you consider that he is, the last second, you know, spurn of USC by Pregnon going to wherever he's going to go to. We don't have any idea where he's going to go to as well too. Somebody had a question. James had a question about he's from Calabasas, had a question about what I thought about Zachariah Branch going to Georgia. I mean, he has an opportunity to make a big impact, as you saw in that game. You saw in that game last against Notre Dame. Georgia really had an opportunity to make some big plays in the passing game, and those guys couldn't catch. Those guys. I didn't love Mike Bobo's game plan, but I did kind of feel bad when you sit there as a coordinator and you dial up the perfect pass play that's 40 yards on the field. Your quarterback delivers it, backup or not, he delivers it right into the hands of the wide receiver, and he just drops it. I mean, I forget his name, number 86 on the Georgia Bulldogs. He just had a brutal year catching the football. It was brutal. It was really brutal. So they need to get some wide receiver help there. They have to understand that he's probably not. He's already not. You got to kind of be creative and try to get him open. He's not like a guy who is going to be, going to handle press coverage well. Maybe you can keep him in the slot, do some things like that. But he does add a dimension to the Bulldogs team that they don't have. They've been a heavy, 12 personnel, tight end kind of thing. But now they do need some wide receiver help. So he will help in that way. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. As far as that goes, keep sending those questions in the offseason. We'll talk about a bunch of different things, Trojan wise, coming up. As the transfer portal and the spring game comes up and all those things like that come through for USC. All right. So anybody right, USC podcast. Everybody take care. Have a great day. If you are near the wildfires out here in California, just be as safe as you possibly can. I wish those folks the best as far as just trying to Everybody stay safe. That ash is not healthy to breathe in as well. I know people were posting pictures that they were 100 miles from the fires and they still have ash on their cars. So, hey, if you got to wear a mask, do whatever you got to do to be healthy and be safe out there during these crazy times with all these wildfires. All right. So, anybody right? USC podcast saying goodbye. Trojans fight on.